Welcome, you guys. Michael Cole Summit, Facebook Live. Can you believe that? Number 223. If we don't have this figured out now, it's too late. It's too late for us. Uh, in search of awesome. You damn right it's in search of awesome. We are always in search of awesome in the social media space, whether it's Instagram, IGTV, highlight stories, Facebook, and we keep looking till we find them. We found one tonight. Mellyn Miller, she is a level 2. I think she's fast tracking through the system. She is using Instagram in some really creative ways. She's also not only, in addition to using Insta behind the chair and branding herself, she's now she's at the very forefront, an early adopter of what we all know is the new normal coming at us, which is the pre-visit complimentary consultations that we know that when we do them before they show up, we don't get no-showed. They show up with higher tickets. They're more committed to our retail. They rebook a whole lot more. So this is coming at us at Mach 5, and Mellyn is really one of the handful that's driving that. We're going to get her talking about that tonight. Level 2, 25-ish. Average service ticket. Look at that average service ticket, you guys. It's $140, and you measure that against her haircut price. That's almost 3 times higher. That tells me that she's engaging her guest in conversations, whether it's online or in real time, to get her guests way more committed to her service menu. Doing about 6 referrals a month, rebooking just under 50%. Doubled her income in the last year and continues to trend that. She's going to tell you her story, but her timeline, in essence, is graduates from high school in 2013, and in that window she does a little bit of other post-secondary ed, graduates from hair school in 16, starts it about halfway through the 2018 as an associate, has her first full year in 2019 as level 1, and the rest is history. If you're not following her on Instagram, I would suggest following her. I do daily. I keep a very close eye on it because I absolutely love what she's doing. And it's at Watermelon, and I thought that maybe that was her handle, but she goes by Mellyn, and but on Insta it's a Watermelon. Uses the bomb iPhone X, has a nice following on social media. The overwhelming majority of her referrals are really brought to her by the work that she's doing on social, but specifically Instagram. I got her in my green room. I'm going to go get her. We're going to bring her out, get her talking about her story, and then we're going to engage her in. I wanted to take us on a little field trip to her Instagram page and get her talking a little bit about virtual consultations. So let me go back to get her, see that the Wi-Fi gods are behaving themselves, and it looks like they are. I'm going to unmute her, and you're going to make it feel welcome, you guys.
Hey guys.
How are you?
I'm doing good, doing great, excited to be on.
Yeah, and you heard me kind of bragging you up a little bit when you were in the green room. So thank you for giving us some of your time tonight, Mellyn. I know you work today, so it's always great to have guests come on.
Definitely, yes. I'm glad to be here.
All right. You look great, too, by the way.
Thank you.
We always like to start with the story because the story gives us, a vision of what's possible. And I love your story. So get us started. Who are you, and what happened to get you to the livelihood of being a hairdresser today for Vivid Salon, etc. Get us started.
So basically I started out actually straight out of high school going to school for graphic and web design, which I did not finish there, but it was just not where I was meant to be. I knew quickly after starting hair school that it was just something that worked with my mind. Like it was very rewarding for me. I got a lot of fulfillment out of it. So I knew that this was going to be the path for me. So I graduated beauty school back in 2016, worked at a couple of salons. Previously, before I moved to where I live now, which is in Atlanta, I was a booth renter. So I was, had a totally different, it was a whole different game compared to what I'm doing now at Vivid. But the biggest thing that impacted me would definitely be my move to Atlanta and starting to work at Vivid Hair Salon. I had never heard of Summit before. So that was just, the more that I dove into it, the more I was like, wow, I was like, this is really structured. Like I've never had anything like that. So it was really amazing. So that really changed the game for me. The move, I'm glad I did it. Moved over here with my boyfriend, Ben. It just hit 2 years, and in 2 short years, I've been shaped by the amazing people at Vivid, Liz, Gwen. So I love my story and where I'm at now, so
Yeah, I mean, I love the part where you had a taste of life behind the chair before you go to Vivid, and like so many, you're self-employed. So all of a sudden, you go from that kind of reality, you step into a culture, a structure like Vivid. It's really set up. It is the epitome of a Summit salon. Curious about what that transition was like to go from whatever that place was, and all of a sudden you got strategy and structure and system and focus and culture and support. That's an extraordinary difference.
It was. It definitely was. I went from basically, when I was booth renting, I mean, I wasn't tracking anything. I wasn't, I had no kind of like goals like set out for me. So, coming to Vivid and like, looking at like the level system like broken down, it really just kind of like laid everything out for me. But yeah, I mean, it took some time, getting to learning the tracking. Gwen was like helping me learning the tracking. That's been huge, and just learning the importance of it and how much that, if you're tracking something, you can't fail at it. I mean, it's, you stay consistent with it, it's gonna work for you. So it's been a huge takeaway in my career.
And it's like you can talk about it all day long, but until you've experienced what a livelihood is in something like a self-employed environment where you just don't have it, the structure, the focus, the mentoring, and then you get here, and all of a sudden you're going, look, on a daily basis, I'm getting so much return on my effort. Like I call it the traction on your action. But you can tell people that, but until they actually experience like you do, Mellyn, you can't see it until you can see it.
Definitely, yes.
Well, that's wonderful. I mean, and I know firsthand, and I've watched it tens of thousands of times, and I never get tired of seeing it. It just to actually watch how it changes people is a big deal. So what's it like now? Because it hasn't been all that long since you pivoted from self-employed to this. How has this changed you, your lifestyle, your standard of living? Like what's it like for you now?
It's really changed a lot. So, my level jump was pretty recent in about the last month. So that was awesome. I was just doing good at tracking with my daily indicator worksheet. That was huge for me. But yeah, so now I'm level 2, which is amazing in 2 short years. And I just only went on the floor full time last September. So it hasn't even been a year.
Oh, wow.
Which is awesome. So I'm definitely pretty proud of that. And then, now, I mean, living on my own, the most financially stable I've ever been, which is just huge for me. Like, I'm just so grateful to have that, because I mean, that's huge for me. Yeah. And then also in the salon, I am, so we have 2 locations, and I'm at Decatur, and I'm our social media coach. So I love that. It's just a cool title. And I'm just loving educating everyone in the salon.
So, in a nutshell, what does a social media coach do in Vivid? Do you like coach other people that aren't on the social, using social yet, to kind of get started, or do you do other stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely, when I had first came to the salon, I think that's kind of honestly when it had started. It kind of just started in just getting Vivid's page in general, like together, which was really cool to see that page grow. But I mean, a lot of things that I'm doing like day to day, I work a lot with our associates and getting them immersed in it because that's just going to set them up for success. Most of our team does a really great job. All of our team does a great job at posting on social media, but I just am like their cheerleader and like, there to help, there with ideas, like with scripts, like sometimes replying to consultations for some people is kind of intimidating. And I definitely love to always help with that. Just, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how much of a difference, because this is, relatively new in the last, year, 2, 3 years, we went from little to no social media as kind of a business building tool to all of a sudden it's there and you're a coach to help people take that like on the very front end. How much of a difference would you say that's made for you and is making for the people that you're coaching on it?
So it's made honestly the hugest difference for me because, coming from California, I had, zero clientele. I didn't know anyone. So I can honestly say that, like you saw the numbers, like about 70% of my referrals and like requests like do come from Instagram. And that is just huge. I truly just start over, built myself up from the ground up by moving here. So social media was, all I had. Like I had
Yes.
had no choice. I needed to be on it. So
Right.
it's made a huge impact.
Yeah, it takes you from being almost totally dependent on a salon's ability to we used to call them supply you with walk-ins when it's your turn to take one, to little to no dependency on that, independent of it, where all of a sudden you've got a tool that gets you more from what you're doing on social media than you could have ever gotten kind of waiting for when it's your turn again to get a
Yeah.
walk in. So talk about freedom. That's big.
Yeah. No, that's been huge.
Well, I want to spend some time. I actually would, while you were talking, I called up your Instagram page. I wanted to have it. I want you to take us on a little field trip because I want you to share some of your secret sauce. And I know that you're taking advantage of all the features on Instagram. You're using it behind the chair in consultations. Now you were telling me you're using it a little, but as this kind of this new term about digital consultations on the pre-visit.
Yeah.
Catch us up to what all that means to you and what it's doing for you and your guests.
So as far as the consultations, that has been huge. I'm always open to doing in-person consultations, but sometimes it's just not as easy to get someone in there. And if I can do a thorough consultation with them over Instagram direct messages, I always would love to. So, it just starts with a conversation. I will ask them for current pictures of their hair, some inspiration pictures, and then we just go from there.
Yeah.
And then by the time they're actually in the salon, we're all set up.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. So it went from there was no. I mean, if 6 months ago or 9 months ago we were talking about the term virtual consultations or a pre-visit digital consultation, we didn't have the vocabulary. Never mind understand what it meant. So and you were chatting with me. So first of all, your page is amazing. Your grids and the content on your grids and how you're using highlights. So you have somebody that is kind of on your page and they like what they see. When would they reach out to you through direct message, or you reach out to them through direct message to really start moving them into let's have a consultation now on Instagram before you show up? Is it before they make the appointment, after they make the appointment, or a little bit of both?
It can be sometimes it's a little bit of both, but mainly it's typically before we've made the appointment. So they know exactly what to expect. I don't like anyone to feel blindsided. Like I go over everything in our consultation, what to expect.
So they would. That sounds like they would be reaching out to you on Instagram message, direct message.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And what would a typical text say? Hi, Mellyn, and I'd like to, like, what's that What's that text actually say to you?
Yeah, there's always a couple different things. Mostly it will be like asking a little bit about my availability, and sometimes they won't even say anything about what they're looking to get done. So that's my cue to be like, okay, like what are you looking to get done? And also what days of the week work best. Also asking for current pictures of their hair and inspiration photos. That just sets up the stage for me to take the reins and be like, okay, like, well, this is what we can expect from here. But yes, most of the time it's just like kind of like a simple worded direct message, and I just have to take that and
Oh, I'm Mellyn, I am loving this conversation because it's almost like you're giving us an anatomy, a step by step as to what this new thing is looking like. So what you're saying is the first touch point is they're texting you something and they're inquiring about scheduling an appointment or what do you have available, and then you'll pivot, you'll direct them to, well, okay, we'll get that handled, but let's start the consultation now. And so the first directive you give them is take a selfie, send it in, and any pictures that are inspiration.
yes, definitely.
How many times when you would say that would they actually, or maybe you might even suggest that they look at the work on your grids or your highlights to see if they see something that's interesting to them where the inspiration is actually your work?
Yeah, so I mean, typically, sometimes the inspiration pictures will be from my own page, which I love. Sometimes it will be a Pinterest photo, etc. But essentially, what I'll be doing is I will go to my own page, and if I sometimes what they're kind of thinking might not be the most realistic or the best translated, so I will go to my own grids, find something that I think will translate a little bit better to them, and then I'm able to use my own work to kind of communicate like what I think we're going for, which is huge.
I love it. So you are really doing a real-time traditional consultation, but
Yeah.
you're doing it on the internet, on Instagram, on your grids, and you'll actually take a screen grab of a piece of content on your grids, bring that, message that back to them. Now they have their selfie. They might have a Pinterest that they sent you. You sent them, parallel work that's yours. And so there's
Yeah.
a conversation that's happening, and it's basically sending each other back and forth content on Instagram messages.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's always just
So
flowed really
let's
well.
pretend that you did 10 of these. How many of the 10 would be pretty much the consultation versus at some point you say to them or they say to you, let's do whether it's a FaceTime on mobile, let's look at each other, or using a feature on Instagram called, what is it, video chat or something to that
Yeah.
effect. Like, do you ever do those? Is that ever part of it?
I have done a couple before. Typically, if it's maybe a color correction situation, it's definitely a case by case scenario. Like if I feel like us talking in direct messages and like we're communicating well, and I feel like we have a good understanding, sometimes I won't need to do a video consult. But maybe for someone that I was like, okay, like I think I actually need to see, show me with your phone, like what's going on in here. Like let's figure this out. And if that still seems difficult, then I'm like, all right, like, well, we can schedule you to come in for complimentary consultation in person.
I love it. But it sounds like when you start, using video, making it a video consult, those tend to be the exception, not the rule, and you need it because of whether it's a correction. What's kind of popping into my head is I've done a couple now as a patient to a physician where I didn't have to go to the office to like have an exam. This is like virtual medicine. So you're on the front end of this, and it's like you can't Google how do you do a virtual consultation in a salon.
Right.
It's like not there yet. So you're like kind of figuring this out, organically incubating it as you use it.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like it's just where like the future is headed. People want something that's going to be quicker and easier for them. And if that's going to work a little bit better for their lifestyle and, make the whole process of it easier, then I'm definitely always all for the video.
Now, here's the other thing I'm really curious about. So, 6-9 months ago, basically there was a traditional consultation and the earth dropped off. So, you had to kind of like wait for the client to book an appointment, and they were booked for whatever they were booked for. and then sometimes you would add on and sometimes not, but at the end of that first visit your ticket was this much, right? Have
Right.
you found that when you do a virtual consultation before they show up, that generally speaking they show up as a higher ticket because you've had some time to kind of interact with each other before they even came in?
I definitely will say yes. It definitely sets up a better expectation, and I definitely end up with a higher ticket. And the reason why is because, someone might call the salon and they ask for a starting price of balayage and they hear one thing, but, typically we know as stylists, like there's typically a lot of additional services and things that are added. So when we're having the virtual consultation, I can give them those expectations of, what they're actually going to be able to expect. And that way it's not like a sticker shock when they
I
sit in
love
my
it.
chair, they're already there. They feel a lot more comfortable because, they've gone through with booking the appointment because they know exactly what they're getting into and there's no surprises. So it's just, takes the fear out of it, as we were talking about the other day.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can only imagine that you see a selfie, and then they whatever inspiration you're looking at, like you can tell right away, okay, this project is going to go beyond a haircut. Whatever
Right.
it is
Yeah.
they're going to need in services, it's going to be a haircut, and then you're able to have that
Right.
conversation in real time, give them an estimate or a range, and then
Yeah.
kind of settle at whatever so that there's no surprises when
Yeah.
they
Cause I
come
don't like to
with
roll our.
regard to the prices. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I like to be very open and, don't blindside anyone. Just keep it open, honest, straightforward. So, yeah.
The other people say that they don't like a first time clients because they get no showed. There's no cancellation. My hunch is that this touch point on the front end of a new client raises the probability that you won't get no showed because they're excited about getting it done. Like they know you.
Def-
And what I'm hearing from people like you is the first visit, when you've done a virtual consultation, doesn't feel like the first visit. It feels like the
yeah.
second or third visit.
Yeah. It already feels immediately more comfortable because you've already chatted with that person, got to know a little bit about their hair. So, yeah. And I will typically always go over the main points that we had talked about once they're down in my chair, but it goes pretty quick from there. And we've already have a great setup. So,
Do you find that more first time clients that get a virtual before they come in have a higher likelihood that they'll pre book for a second visit because you've got some rapport and credibility built in before they came in for the first visit?
I definitely do. I just think that the virtual, direct message consultation just sets you up. It just makes you very personable. Like you took the time out of your day to have a consultation with them, find out what they're really wanting, listening, key things, listening. But I mean, another thing is just my clients are a lot more likely to pre-book just simply for the fact that they have that communication point with me through Instagram direct messages. Before a client leaves, I'm always telling them, you need anything, just direct message me and I will be there for you. And I think that that's always just kept a solid like relationship. They know that they can come to me for anything.
Yeah, and somebody on my dashboard said that she thought that you can even have the start planting seeds for retail and have conversations about what products are going to be needed to support this when they go home.
Yeah.
And so, do you find that the retail ticket, as a general rule, on a client that's had a pre visit consultation, tends to be higher than if they're like they just come in cold as a walk-in?
Yes, I would definitely say that because, like you said, like planting that seed for it, and also another thing of just keeping them informed of, keeping them informed with like the expectations. So recently, I did have a guest who was looking to become like a bleach and tone platinum, and I made him clear, like, know that okay, well, you're gonna need to be using like a purple toning shampoo, like coming in this often. So, they already know that they're going to need a certain type of shampoo when they come in if they're going to want to maintain this type of high maintenance look. So that helps a ton.
You got a lot of your homies and besties around the night, and they're sending you love, and they're saying, "Tell her I'm not just a stylist, I'm her friend." It's Sarah Found, or is it
Sarah Fuad, that's my bestie.
Yeah. So anyway, they're sending you love. Now, before kind of signing off, I've been around in the business for a while, and I've seen a lot of new ideas come some of them stay, some of them don't. But I haven't seen an idea like the pre-visit complimentary virtual consultation come that had this much juice in it. It's like that's such a big idea that, and you now, it's part of your chairside manner. It's like it's part of your MO, your modem of operandi, and it sounds like it's really it's nitroglycerin that you're pouring on whatever bonfire you've made, right? So it's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
Yes.
we're out of time, and I want to, this has been an extraordinary conversation. I have a lot of regard for people like you. You're like the early adopters to this. I don't even know that it's quite a trend yet, because there's a lot of hairdressers that are kind of like feel creepy about it.
Right.
Or you have to at least be savvy enough on Instagram to be able to do it. And there's still a lot of people that are not on Instagram yet. They're kind of lagging behind.
Very true.
This has been a very inspiring and insightful conversation. And the tutorial, I think you're kind of blowing up my soundboards that people are saying, no, this is really, really good. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, before I let you go, promise me you'll come back for an encore.
Of course. I promise.
Because pinky promise or whatever.
I'm like, I promise.
Because I think you're just getting warmed up, and sooner or later we're going to be on the back end of the COVID hurricane, and
Right.
I have a feeling that whatever digital consultations are looking like for you now, they're going to pale in comparison to what they're going to look like after the holidays, never mind in 2021. And by that time, you're going to blink and you're going to be at level 4A. So you promised me that you would come back and would you promise to do something else? Would you take some screen grabs of some text messages that you've gotten from clients or that you've sent off of your your Instagram direct message, and then I'll when I get them from you, I will upload them on your interview, because I think people would find that to be fascinating.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. For sure.
All right. Well, thanks again, Mellyn, about coming in and seeing us and sharing with us. You did an awesome job.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it. This opportunity is great.
Yeah, it was a fun ride. Well, I'm going to let you get on with your evening. We're going to give it up for you one more time, because you blew it up big time.
Thanks.
All right.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Oh, got to say hi to Mom and the fam. So I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye. Have a great night. Thank you.
Bye now. Wow. I mean, that was big, you guys. That was real big. I would say that I've done this a half a dozen times now in getting people to talk about pre-visit, complimentary, virtual, digital consultations. But that was her secret sauce. And she is an early adopter of it. And she's frankly, she's plowing a path for a lot of other people to kind of follow, because this is like really something new, but it is a part of the new normal. And I'm going to make a prediction, and that is that virtual consultations are going to be norm really like in a couple of hours. And to the degree that you're on it and you're intaking new clients using that path, you are going to have a competitive advantage over other hairdressers that aren't. And I also think it's as much of a new experience for your new guest. It's like, whoa, all of a sudden I get to meet my hairdresser before I meet my hairdresser, and we're having a conversation on an Instagram page online, and she's sending me or he's sending me some of their content, and I showed them my selfie, so they got to look at me before I showed up, so we don't have to spend time figuring all that out. And you don't get no-showed. Now, what we didn't get to tonight, and I'm going to continue, is we know that online appointments, booking online, is the new norm. And a lot of you, it's like, oh, keep that away from me because it'll mess up my books. I have no control. I guarantee you, if pre-visit virtual consultations are coupled with booking online when you're a first-time client, all of the chaos, all of the drama, all of the loss, all of the no-shows, all of that goes away because you're doing a first-time pre-visit virtual digital complimentary consultation. So it's a beautiful thing. So great show tonight. I want you to give it up for her one more time. If you're new to my community, Michael Cole Summit, this is Facebook Michael Cole Summit, and we do this now almost every day. There's some kind of, Facebook Live, that feature on Facebook. I'm using that. This has become, this space for me on my page is rapidly becoming a learning channel for people like you that are going, okay, where's all this going and how do I need to be in front of it so that I can take advantage of it rather than being dragged off into the desert by it. So I would hang with us. Now, the other thing I want you to know is if you use the same handle on Instagram, Michael Cole Summit on Instagram, I'm now using my IGTV as a place for like Mellyn's, I think we spent like 20 minutes with each other. I'm going to cook that down to like 5-6 minutes and get the juice of it and put that on my IGTV channel so that if you can go and watch the cut to the chase, or if you don't want to watch it, pair up your mobile to your car and you can experience it as a podcast because it's not an either or. I think, and there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of my followers are now doing that. So and by the way, this is all compliments. So because, we're powered by L'Oreal, L'Oreal's financial support allows us to do this, to give this to you. I hate to use the word free because that's cheesy. We're giving it to you compliments of L'Oreal, Salon Centric, State RDA. So thank you to those guys as well. You should be on our .com, summitsalon.com, and we have, like when Mellyn was talking about coming into a Summit Salon and there was strategy and structure and system and coaching and goals and planning, she was referring to the Social Digital Planner. She was referring to the script guide. She was referring to our book, Over the Top, with all of our scripts and verbiage on it. So I would go get on the .com and find out about that and get involved with that as well. Michael Cole Summit YouTube has all of my interviews pre-recorded. They're all recorded. They're edited now, and you can go to that channel and watch them all. Compliments of L'Oreal and Salon Centric and State and RDA. So do that. And it's like I said, that in and of itself is a stylist development training course. So we have another learning channel called SummitSalon365.com. And that's really more of our production value video, basically our online video courses. But check that out as well. Many of we now have, our community is around 5,000 Summit Salon spa companies. And you do the math on that. Our village now is about 50,000 Summit service providers. So we have 100 coaches, and the overwhelming majority of our coaches now don't require our coaches to jump on an airplane or to get into a car or to check into a hotel. We are now able to coach you online through virtual coaching. And no, wait, there's more. We would be very happy to give you a 30-minute, no obligation consultation. We can do that on the phone. We can do that on Zoom. We can do that on FaceTime so that you can really see all the different ways that we can help you online at an investment that's way more affordable than it's ever been. So you guys got to get on that big time. All of our mobile calculators now are compliments us. There's no charge for that. Our mobile trackers, Mellyn was saying that she was using our tracking apps and our calculators to kind of keep track of how she was doing. I mean, and that's basically, those are the digital tools. And then if you always see me wearing a tattoo. I love tattoos. I put them on tees. And every time I do a show, I try to do another one. My partner in crime on that is Rob Miller, and he's just a brilliant illustrator. The .com is mctattoos.com. Go there and hunt. Any proceeds, by the way, go all to nonprofit charity. So I do a lot of work with children's literacy, preschoolers, kindergarten, first, second grade, to help them to kind of get ahead of the literacy education thing. We know that if they get that right, they're going to have a much better life. A lot of these children are impoverished and they're fragile. So it's a good cause. And so I'll leave that to you. I always like to end the show with thanking the powers behind all of our conversation, and that is L'Oreal Professional Products. These are their brands. Their brands are our brand. So, you take it from Baxter, which is our men's line, to Matrix, to Biolize, Mazzani, Pulp Riot, Essie, Kerastase, Purology, L'Oreal Professional, Redken, Shoe. I mean, it goes on and on. Support those brands, you guys, to the degree that you support them, doing business with the salon consultants, engaging your clients in their take-home products. All that goes a long way to continue for us to be powered by them and bring you this compliments. This is normally content that would cost you tens of thousands of dollars, and it's brought to you because of them. So thank you again, L'Oreal Professional. Good. Great show. We will edit this down, put this on our YouTube channel, or our YouTube, and our IGTV. So great, and we'll see you next.